Iran has announced a halt to its offensive military operations, but warned that any new attacks could trigger a far more severe response. Iran's Joint Military Command says it has stopped active operations against Israel following its latest round of retaliatory strikes. The fragile Middle East truce is facing renewed strain after a fresh exchange of fire raised fears of further escalation. Israel and Iran exchanged fire early Monday despite the existing ceasefire, marking their first direct military confrontation since the truce was reached.
Khatam al-Anbiya's central headquarters announced, following the acts of aggression and hostility carried out by the bloodthirsty Zionist regime in southern Lebanon and the Dahiyeh area, with the support of criminal America, the powerful armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran delivered a painful response to this regime in support of the oppressed people of Lebanon, a response from which the illegitimate Zionist regime and its supporters should have learned a lesson. Accordingly, the cessation of operations by the armed forces is hereby announced. However, it is emphasized that should the aggression and hostile acts continue, including in southern Lebanon, much more severe and crushing measures than before will follow.
Offensive operations may be halted for now, but Tehran has made it clear that all military options remain on the table if tensions escalate further. Iran has issued a stark warning to Israel, saying that any future aggression could trigger a far stronger response than before. "We will never bow to our enemies," Iranian officials declared, while warning that more severe action could follow if attacks continue. According to Tehran, that warning applies not only to Israel but also to any country supporting Israeli military actions in the region.
As we had promised, we acted accordingly. The powerful armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran, have demonstrated that, while maintaining the highest level of defensive and offensive readiness, they act upon their stated commitments with speed and precision and make their American and Zionist enemies regret their actions. Criminal America and the brutal Zionist regime must know that a strong and proud Iran, together with the resistance forces that have brought honor to the region, will stand firm under all circumstances and against any threat, and will never bow their heads to the enemies that have been defeated in war. And should aggression and hostile acts continue, they will be met with an even stronger response.
This comes as reports claim Mujtaba Khamenei has gone off the grid, with communication channels reportedly falling silent amid heightened regional tensions. A new mystery appears to be unfolding inside Iran's power structure, as reports claim some officials have been unable to reach Khamenei. According to Iran International, contact with Mujtaba Khamenei has reportedly been lost since Sunday night, raising fresh questions in Tehran. The development has fueled speculation over command and coordination during Iran's latest military actions. Questions are now being raised over whether Iran's recent strike on Israel received direct approval from Mujtaba Khamenei. As Iran International's report suggests, the operation may not have required real-time coordination with the supreme leader. Instead, pre-planned wartime protocols are believed to have been activated as communication issues reportedly emerged. The reports indicate that certain military operations can proceed even without direct contact with senior leadership. So far, no official explanation has been provided for the reported communication disruption. Iranian authorities have yet to publicly comment on the claims surrounding Khamenei's reported inaccessibility. This comes as Trump made a big truce announcement even as Israel and Iran exchanged attacks, trying to seize control of the narrative while missiles flew. Trump claimed both sides are looking for an immediate ceasefire after publicly scolding both Iran and Israel over their latest strikes. Trump insists that peace negotiations are going on behind the scenes despite what he calls ignorant and stupid attacks, suggesting diplomacy is still alive even as the battlefield heats up. President Trump publicly scolded both Israel and Iran, urging an immediate halt to strikes as Washington tries to project control while its closest regional ally defies calls for restraint. Meanwhile, a massive explosion was reported in Iran's capital, Tehran, raising urgent questions over whether senior diplomat Abbas Araghchi and other top officials are safe. The blast reportedly shook the Foreign Ministry building in Tehran, even as a fragile ceasefire is said to be in place. Iran released dramatic video purporting to show its missiles pounding Israeli territory in what it claims is a third wave of attacks, signaling that the confrontation is far from over. Calling Israel's actions a dangerous game, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps earlier warned of serious consequences after a reported strike on an Iranian facility. IRGC missiles then targeted Haifa in retaliation, Iranian sources claimed, framing the attack as a direct response to the earlier attack by the IDF. At the same time, Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen have also launched a missile attack on central Israel, underscoring how Tehran's allies are widening the battlefield beyond Iran and Israel themselves.
In line with confronting the American and Zionist aggression against the axis of jihad and resistance in Iran, Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen, and in rejection of the Zionist project seeking to establish what is so-called Greater Israel under the name of the New Middle East, and in our endeavor to break the unjust and oppressive siege imposed by the American enemy on our people and the free and dear peoples of the Axis in Lebanon, Gaza, and Iran, and based on the principle of unified fronts and confronting enemies, and in response to the Zionist aggression against Lebanon, Iran, and Gaza, the Yemeni armed forces launched a missile barrage targeting sensitive Israeli enemy targets in the occupied Jaffa region. The missile strikes achieved their objectives with precision. And in this context, the armed forces affirm the following. First, we declare a complete and total ban on Israeli maritime navigation in the Red Sea, and we consider all enemy movements to be legitimate military targets for our armed forces from the moment this statement is issued. Second, we affirm that we will respond to escalation with escalation, and our military operations will intensify in accordance to the field developments, the battle, and in conjunction with the axis of jihad and resistance. Third, we affirm the right of our people and the peoples of our free nation to confront the American-Israeli aggression. We will not stand idly by in the face of the unjust siege imposed on our people and the peoples of the axis of jihad and resistance in Palestine, Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq. All the enemy's attempt will fail, Allah willing, and our operations will continue as long as the aggression and siege against us and the axis of jihad and resistance persist.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry slammed the United States for restricting its World Cup delegation, accusing Washington of using visa limits and travel curbs as a political weapon.
You made an interesting comparison. The previous World Cup in Qatar was organized very efficiently, and it was a good experience for us as well. This time, as you mentioned, 3 countries are jointly organizing the tournament, and unfortunately we may be witnessing one of the most politicized sporting events because of the actions of the United States. We, of course, thank Mexico for the cooperation it has shown in hosting Iran's national team, but the actions of the United States should be counted as part of its hostility toward the Iranian people. We are talking about Iran's national football team, and naturally, like the more than 40-something other teams that have qualified for this event, it should be able to carry out its activities free from discrimination, pressure, and stress. A significant portion of FIFA regulations and the host government's obligations have already been violated up to now, including the failure to issue visas to a considerable number of team members who, under FIFA regulations, should have been granted visas. In addition, regarding the timing of national teams' access to stadiums in the United States, FIFA rules require that teams be able to familiarize themselves with the venue, stadium, at least 48 hours before the start of a match. We regret that the United States has not even spared the realm of sports from its mistreatment of and pressure on the Iranian people. Nevertheless, we have full confidence in our national football team. We know that our young players and the members of the national team will compete with determination and give their all to bring joy to the people, and we wish them every success.